Welcome to everyone. Today I am here to present a paper on international taxation, the source principle versus residence principle. First of all, let us know what is tax. A tax is a financial charge that is imposed by the government on all the people who are residing in the country on the income that has been arised during the tax period. And why the tax has to be levied has to be understood properly. As there is an economical imbalance in the country, the tax will be collected by the people who are economically sound and will be distributed among the people who are economically backward. So thereby they are balancing the economy, and the government is providing roads, school, hospital facility, police security and all other defense security and other infrastructure. For facilitating all these things, the government requires money. The government collects this money from the general public in way of taxes and utilizes such amount which has been collected by the people to construct these facilities like infrastructure, roads and others. The tax also will be levied for the purpose of benefit theory. What is this benefit theory? There is actually a direct nexus between the country and the income that is earned in such country. The government will provide, as I have already said, the government will provide some public goods by using which the people will earn the income. As they utilize all those public goods, they have to contribute some amount to build this infrastructure in the country. There are some concepts that needs to be considered while taxing the people. What are those considerations? Manu in his manuscript has said, Yatha alpa alpam adantyadhyam varyapo vatsa shatpadaha tatha alpa alpo grahitavyo rashtra rajabdhikaha karah. That means, as leech, calf and bee get their food little by little, the same way the government also has to collect the taxes from the people without feeling burden to them. And also Adam Smith has given so many canons of taxation wherein they discuss about the equality and the rationale behind the collection and levy of tax. Now let us understand to whom the tax will be, from whom the tax will be collected. Earlier, the tax used to be collected by the residents of the country where they used to reside on the income that has been earned therein. The country should have the jurisdiction, or the government should have the jurisdiction to levy the tax. What is the jurisdiction? A jurisdiction is the geographical area wherein the government has a sovereign right to collect the taxes from the people who are residing there. So, consequently, the government was collecting the taxes from the people who are actually residing in that geographical area or jurisdiction, and such income which are earned in such jurisdictional area. But later the government realized that some of the income has been earned by the residents outside the jurisdiction, which are outside the tax brackets. The government thought to bring those income also into the tax base, and that resulted in the residence base of taxation or resident principle of taxation. And it also realized that some of the non-residents are also earning some income within the jurisdiction which was also out of the purview of taxation, that also has been brought within the tax brackets, and such principle was called as a source principle or source jurisdiction of taxation. Now we have understood why the concept of source principle and residence principle has evolved in the taxation history. We'll elaborately consider why the source principle and the residence principle has come into the tax jurisdiction. What is source jurisdiction of principle? The source jurisdiction of taxation clearly enumerates all those income which has been earned by either resident or non-resident within the tax jurisdiction. If any income has been earned in the tax jurisdiction, the government will tax such income within the jurisdiction. This is because of the benefit theory of taxation. As the residents and non-residents has used some public goods that have been provided by the government in earning such income, the government has a right to tax those income which are sourced in that jurisdiction. Residence jurisdiction. This involves the taxation of a resident's income worldwide. That means if a person is resident within the jurisdiction, his global income is taxable in such jurisdiction. This is because of the benefit theory, wherein the nexus is between the country and the person who actually earns the income. If we consider the principle of economic allegiance, the right of taxing the resident arises because he resides or is a citizen of that jurisdiction. Different concepts of source jurisdiction and residence jurisdiction will work very well if there is only one tax jurisdiction. If there are two or more taxable jurisdictions, then the problem arises as to the same income will be taxed twice. As a resultant of liberalization, privatization and globalization, the business has gone wider beyond the countries, that is two or more countries, the same business will be run and it will be resulting in taxation in two or more countries. Some countries may tax the income which has been earned worldwide. Some country may tax the only income that has been earned therein, and some countries may tax in the combination of these two, that is the income earned worldwide as well as the source of the income. This will definitely result in the double taxation, and which is also known as juridical double taxation. Now let us understand what is juridical double taxation. It may so happen that in case of cross-border transaction, as the business are residing in two or more countries, the same income are taxed twice. The OECD model of DTA has defined the juridical double taxation as: an international juridical double taxation can be generally defined as the imposition of comparable taxes in two or more states on the same taxpayer in respect of same subject matter and the identical periods. Its harmful effect on exchange of goods and services and the movement of capital, technology and persons are so well known that it is scarcely necessary to stress the importance of removing the obstacles that the double taxation presents to the developing economy and economic relation between other countries. And there are some important conflicts that have been resulting because of juridical double taxation that can be discussed as follows: a source conflict, a residence conflict, a source and residence conflict. What is this source conflict? In the source conflict, two countries contend that the same income has been sourced in their respective countries. That is, one country may say that the income is arise in that country, and another country may also state that the same income has also arisen in that country only. For example, a domestic law of India may say that any income from the shipping operation is sourced in India if that ship has sailed in the territorial water of the India. The same can also be taxed in South Africa if such domestic law says that if all those cargoes and passengers has embarked from South Africa, may also state that such income is sourced in South Africa. This will result in the source conflict, as both India and South Africa are stating that such income are taxed in respective countries. The next one is residence conflict. The resident conflict says that the same person is residing in two countries. Residence conflict. In this case, two countries will clearly say the same person as a resident of their respective countries according to their domestic laws. One country says, because he is residing in that country for so many days, he is a resident of that country, and another country also states that he is a resident of that country. Let us take a beautiful example. The domestic law of UK may say that a company which is incorporated in UK is a resident of UK. And the same way, if that company has an operations in India and such operations, main management and affairs are present in India, India may also state that the company has residence in India. Consequently, the income will be taxed both in UK and in India, resulting in double taxation. The third one is the most common one, the residence and source conflict. Here, the same income is taxed in two countries, one as a source country and one as a resident country. One country clearly says, as the person who earns the income resides in this country, that income is taxable in the country. The other country states that as the income is arise in that country, the source is reflecting in that country, so it will be taxed in that country also. For an example, if Mr. X is a resident of India, the global income of Mr. X is taxable in India. On the other hand, if the X is a resident of UK and he has some taxable income in India, say for example rent or interest which is deemed to accrue and arise in India, the same will be taxed in India as the source is from India. And this income may also be taxed in UK as that person is a resident of UK. So the interest and rent are taxed twice, once in India as a source income and once in UK as a resident principal. So thereby it is resulting in juridical double taxation. These are the three conflicts wherein the same income are taxed twice. If this is the case, this would give a problem wherein a rational businessman will hesitate to go beyond the country or to formulate a multinational company. Let us take a classical example. One company called X is incorporated in India which starts its business operation in America. Let us assume the tax rate in India as 30% and the tax rate in America as 40%. Thereby, X Limited company is incurring an effective tax rate of 70% on its income. Thereby, only 30% of its income is left for the company. If we assume the tax rate of these two countries as 50%, then the company ends up with no income. And the wonderful thing is, if the rate of tax is beyond 50%, then the company will have insufficient income to pay its taxes. It is therefore necessary that some mechanism should be in place to eliminate or at least reduce the burden of double taxation, as the cross-border commerce is to be facilitated and encouraged to produce the optimal allocation of resources internationally. To facilitate in this regard, the government has entered into the treaties or tax treaties, generally called as Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement, or in short DTAE. A tax treaty is essentially an agreement between two sovereign countries for governing the collection and levy of taxes arising out of the transaction between two or more countries. The treaty is not the law, although the instrument signed by the respective countries is governed by the international law. The power to enter into the treaties is normally derived from the constitutional powers of the respective countries. To conclude with, there are several methods by which the taxpayer may obtain relief from double taxation, such as exemption method, tax credit method, deduction method, etc., by which the countries have sought to avoid the problems of juridical double taxation. As the world shrinks to size of the virtual village, the concept of international taxation continues to grow and is set to engage the attention of practicing professionals and policymakers for long time to come. This presentation is a small effort in understanding one of the basic concepts of international taxation. Thank you very much.